All right, so let's dive into something that's been causing a bit of a stir in the rugby world.
Mhm.
France's player rotation strategy.
Yeah.
Picture this, right?
Yeah.
It's 2027. The World Cup is just around the corner, and France, they're making some pretty bold moves.
Ooh, yeah.
We've got articles here comparing their approach to giants like South Africa,
Right.
and even some direct insights from the man himself, Fabien Galthie.
Oh, wow.
So,
Well, what's interesting to me is that France isn't just rotating players, they're like running a whole rugby laboratory over there.
oh, really?
Yeah, they used a ridiculous 75 players in 2024.
75.
To put that in perspective, South Africa,
Right.
who are known for their rotation, they only used 50.
Wow, 75 players. That's a massive pool.
What's the thinking behind such a large-scale approach?
Well, it seems like they're playing the long game, building for the future. But at the same time, they're still trying to compete now in the present.
Right.
They have this, what they call premium group,
Okay.
which is basically their core 20 players.
Right. Those are the guys who are going to be the foundation for the World Cup.
Okay.
But then around that core, they're constantly experimenting and developing new talent.
I see.
Like in 2024 alone, 22 players got their first taste of international rugby.
So it's like they're cultivating a whole generation of players.
Yep.
While also keeping their core squad fresh.
Exactly.
But didn't they send a less experienced squad on their summer tour?
Yeah.
Even against powerhouses like New Zealand?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some people saw that as a risky gamble.
Yeah. It's definitely a bold move, sending a less experienced squad to face the All Blacks. I mean, it definitely raised some eyebrows.
Yeah.
But I think it's a calculated risk. They're resting those premium players,
Okay.
giving them time to recover and prepare for the bigger battles ahead.
So they're willing to potentially sacrifice some short-term wins
Yeah.
to gain valuable experience for their developing players. It's
Exactly.
a high-stakes strategy for sure.
Oh, it is. And it sparked a lot of debate.
I bet.
Some people are applauding their long-term vision, while others are questioning whether they're prioritizing development over respecting the competition.
It's definitely a thought-provoking approach,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you consider that they still managed to snatch a win against Argentina during one of those summer tour matches.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait.
It wasn't a complete washout.
Yeah.
They did manage to get that win against Argentina, although they did lose the second match.
Right.
But it really highlights the trade-offs they're willing to make. Gaining experience for newer players might come at the cost of immediate victories.
And Galthie seems determined to see this through. He's been consistent with this strategy for 4 years now.
Yeah.
And we even have direct quotes from him explaining their reasoning.
Oh, wow.
He emphasizes the importance of collaborating with the clubs to ensure players are performing at their best for both club and country.
That's a really crucial element here, the collaboration with the clubs.
Yeah.
It suggests a much more holistic approach. Recognizing that player burnout is a real concern. They're trying to create a system where the clubs and the national team are working in sync rather than at odds.
It's like they're trying to weave together this intricate tapestry of French rugby,
Exactly.
with every player in every club contributing to the overall masterpiece.
That's a great way to put it. And that's where the comparison with South Africa gets really interesting.
Okay.
Both teams embrace rotation, but the scale and the reasoning behind it are quite different.
So South Africa's also rotating players,
Yes.
but they're doing it on a smaller scale
Mm-hmm.
and with a different objective in mind.
Precisely. South Africa, under Rassie Erasmus, used 50 players in 2024,
Okay.
and they still managed to win 11 of their 13 matches.
Wow.
Their approach seems more about ensuring a wide range of players are ready to step in if needed.
Okay.
Kind of like building a deep bench for the World Cup.
So South Africa's going for breadth,
Yeah.
while France is aiming for depth with that premium group at the center of it all. But doesn't that make France vulnerable if one of their key players gets injured?
It's a high-risk, high-reward strategy, no doubt.
Yeah.
If those 20 players stay healthy and reach their full potential, France could become a force to be reckoned with.
Right.
But if injuries hit, they might be scrambling to fill those gaps.
It's a gamble, but it's certainly generating a lot of buzz.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's got everyone talking.
Definitely.
It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a real hot topic, Everyone's watching to see how this whole French experiment unfolds.
And it's not just armchair pundits talking about it either.
Right.
We've even seen some pretty strong reactions from other teams. Remember when New Zealand's coach, Ian Foster,
Oh, yeah.
made that comment about France not respecting the game by sending an understrength squad on tour?
Yeah, that sparked quite a bit of controversy.
Yeah.
But, it does make you wonder, is there a point where this intense focus on development starts to kind of undermine the integrity of the competition?
That's a great question. On one hand, you can admire their commitment to building for the future,
Hmm.
but on the other hand, you have to wonder if they're devaluing the importance of every match.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance for sure.
Mm.
And it raises some interesting questions about the role of national teams,
Right.
in the global rugby landscape.
Yeah. Is it all about winning every single game?
Right.
Or is there also a responsibility to develop the sport as a whole?
Exactly. And France seems to be pushing those boundaries,
Yeah.
They're forcing us to rethink the traditional notions of what a national team should be.
So how is this strategy actually translated into results on the field?
Okay.
Did all this rotation lead to more wins?
Right.
Or did they struggle against teams with more settled lineups?
Well, their Six Nations campaign was a bit of a mixed bag.
Okay.
They only managed to win 3 out of their 5 matches.
Right.
Which, for a team with World Cup aspirations, isn't exactly stellar.
So not the dominant performance they might have been hoping for.
No, but then again, they weren't fielding their premium squad for those matches. So it's hard to gauge their true potential when they're constantly experimenting with different lineups.
But they did finish the year with a bang,
They did.
defeating the All Blacks in a thrilling match. That must have been a huge confidence boost.
Oh, that victory against the All Blacks was a real statement win.
Yeah.
It showed that even without their top players, they can still compete at the highest level.
And it must have been an incredible experience for those less experienced players
Yeah.
who got a chance to contribute to such a historic victory.
Absolutely. Those are the moments that can shape a player's career,
Yeah.
To be thrown into the fire against the All Blacks and come out on top.
Right.
That's the kind of experience that builds character and resilience.
So maybe that win against the All Blacks is a sign that this long-term strategy is starting to pay off.
It's certainly a positive indicator,
Yeah.
but the real test will be how they perform in the years leading up to the World Cup. Can they maintain this momentum while continuing to rotate players? That's the million-dollar question.
And it seems they're doubling down on their strategy.
Oh, really?
They're planning to send another less experienced squad on their upcoming tour of New Zealand in 2025.
Wow. So they're sending a B team to face the All Blacks again.
That's right. They're sticking to their guns even in the face of criticism.
It's a bold move considering the backlash they received last time.
Yeah, you have to admire their conviction.
It certainly shows they're not afraid to take risks, but it also raises the stakes even higher.
Yeah.
If they struggle against the All Blacks again, the pressure will mount.
It's a high-wire act, that's for sure.
It is.
But if it pays off, they could be virtually unstoppable in 2027.
That's the gamble they're making. They're betting that this intense focus on development will ultimately lead to World Cup glory.
It's a fascinating experiment.
It is.
And it's making everyone rethink the way we approach player development and team selection.
Yeah. France is challenging the status quo, and it's creating a ripple effect throughout the rugby world.
It's like they're writing a new chapter in the rugby playbook.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be fascinating to see how it all unfolds.
But there's one more crucial aspect of France's strategy we need to examine: the human element.
Okay.
How are they managing to keep so many players engaged and motivated?
That's a great point. It's one thing to have a system in place.
Right.
But it's another thing entirely to get buy-in from the players.
Exactly. And that's what we'll explore in more detail as we continue our deep dive. Stick around.
Okay, so we've talked about the strategy, the risks, the rewards, but now let's get into the heart of this French Revolution.
Okay.
The players themselves. How is France managing to keep 75 players, engaged and motivated in this massive rotation system?
That's where Galthie's leadership really comes into play.
Yeah.
Remember that quote where he said, "We want them to have consistent development. We want to work hand in hand with the league and the clubs." It's not just lip service. They're actively fostering a culture of communication and collaboration. And not just between the coaches and players, but also with the clubs.
So it's not just about dictating terms from the top down.
Exactly.
They're actually listening to the players and the clubs, making sure everyone feels like they're part of the process.
Yeah, they're creating a sense of shared ownership over this ambitious project.
Right.
Players aren't just cogs in a machine. They're active participants in this grand experiment. And that buy-in is crucial.
It makes sense. If you're a young player on the fringes of the national team,
Yeah.
knowing that your development is being taken seriously,
Right.
that you're not just being thrown into the deep end without support, That's got to be incredibly motivating.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the young players either.
Yeah.
Even for those established premium players. Knowing that they're not being run into the ground, that they're being given time to rest and recover, that's got to have a positive impact on their performance and their longevity.
Yeah. It's like they're building a sustainable system for success.
Yeah.
One that benefits both the players and the national team in the long run. But how are they navigating the inevitable challenges of managing so many players?
Right.
Keeping track of their progress, making sure they're all getting the support they need. That's a massive undertaking.
It requires a highly organized and adaptable system, you know?
Okay.
They have a dedicated team of coaches and support staff who are constantly monitoring players, both at the club level and during international windows.
Okay.
They're using data analysis, video review, and even one-on-one mentoring to tailor their approach to each individual player's needs.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
No, not at all.
They're recognizing that each player has a unique set of strengths and weaknesses. And they're adjusting their development plan accordingly.
Precisely. It's a personalized approach to player development.
Yeah.
Something that's been lacking in many national team setups in the past.
It's like they're running a high-performance lab. But one that's focused on nurturing individual potential as much as it is on producing results.
Exactly.
But all this innovation, all this experimentation, it begs the question, is it actually working?
That's the million-euro question. I think it's still too early to say definitively.
Yeah.
You know, the results have been mixed, as we discussed earlier.
Right.
But there are signs that the system is starting to bear fruit.
Okay.
The win against the All Blacks, the emergence of promising young players.
Yeah.
These are all positive indicators.
And beyond the wins and losses, there's a sense that France is building something special, something that could have a lasting impact on the game.
Right.
They're challenging the status quo, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in terms of player development and team management.
It's an audacious experiment, and it's captivating the rugby world, whether they achieve ultimate glory in 2027 or not.
Right.
They've already made a significant contribution to the evolution of the game.
Yeah.
You know, they're forcing us to rethink the way we approach rugby.
Right.
To look beyond the traditional models and consider new possibilities.
So for all you rugby fanatics out there, keep your eyes on France.
Yeah.
This French Revolution is one worth watching.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating.
It's a story of ambition, innovation, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. And who knows, maybe they'll rewrite the rugby playbook along the way.